Let's start off with the joke today, and the joke has to do with Noah. And the joke goes like this: What did Noah do for a living? The answer: he was an architect. Good stuff. By the way, there's a movie called Noah coming out. I don't know, that might have to be one I go see. We'll see. But until then, we have a new video homework for us today. The New Deal affects many groups. Okay, so we know a lot of people are hurting during the Great Depression era. And how does it affect some other groups that we may not have discussed yet, specifically minority groups in the United States in the 1930s? Okay, so that is the focus question for today is how does the New Deal affect different minority groups? And that's what we're going to get into next. Okay, so as mentioned, the New Deal affects many groups. The focus today is going to be on minorities and how the New Deal affected them. And the first group of minorities that we're going to look at is going to be women. And since the 20th century, the early 1900s, and even a little bit before, we've seen women start to take on different roles. And in 1920, I believe I have the dates correct, we see the passing of the 19th Amendment, women's which gives women suffrage. So women now have the right to vote. In the 1920s, we see a lot of women pushing the boundaries of who a woman is and the traditional role versus the modern day woman. And now we have the Great Depression. The New Deal is inevitably going to put more women into the workforce. There are new opportunities because of the number of jobs that FDR and the Democrats are putting out there. Um, so that if you wanna look at it in strictly, are there more opportunities? The answer is yes. But one of the things I want to focus on at this time is the overwhelming majority of the United States still feels like the woman's traditional role is still the main role for a woman, and especially if the man of a household has a job, then that's really when a lot of people, including women, think that women should take on their traditional role, stay at home, be a caretaker, be a mother, be a wife, as opposed to being somebody in the workforce. The second group we're going to mention, second minority group we're going to bring up, are African Americans. And just like women in this case, because of the government jobs that are opening up and the government expansion, there are going to be more or new job opportunities for African Americans. And at this time in the 1930s, it is now that African Americans actually have the strongest voice they've ever had in government. And a large reason for many of the advancements or opportunities that African Americans and women have during this time in the professional realm does have to do with Eleanor Roosevelt and her quest to help minorities and women out in achieving equality in the United States. However, the real story here in the 1930s is FDR has an opportunity, just like every president does, has an opportunity, even though that these are tough times, to push forward and make a strong case for civil rights. But because of the Great Depression and whatever other reasons he may have had, like not losing votes in the South, FDR decides not to take a strong stance on civil rights, and because of that, the whole civil rights movement is pushed back again, and we'll finally see that take place in the 1950s, not because of government, but because of people coming after the government, if you will. The last minority group that we're going to discuss today will be Native Americans. And the main issue during the time of the New Deal that comes up is the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. And what this act does is it addresses assimilation. Assimilation was a term. It began in the second half of the 1800s. Assimilation is a term that we had in our first unit, and the whole idea of it is that you are going to Americanize, in this case, a group of people, make them more American-like. And that's what the United States had done or had tried to do with many different Native American groups is take this group of people that is different from the majority of Americans or American citizens, and bring them into immerse them in the American culture, and hopefully at the same time you expect them to lose their previous culture. And you know, some Native Americans they end up becoming Americanized and assimilated into American culture, while others fight it for as long as they possibly can, no matter what the fate of them is. And the Reorganization Act of 1934, during the Great Depression, now they're taking on another change. And instead of assimilation, they move toward autonomy, meaning that now they're giving American Indians or Native Americans, they're giving them back their rights, their choice to do what they want and get land, live on land how they so choose. And some Native Americans welcome this. They're excited about it because it means that if they want to continue their old traditions, then wonderful, they can. Those that have been Americanized, many of them are very upset because they have they have adopted some of the policies that the government basically instituted. They now have land, have a career, whatever may be, and now once again the government is telling them what to do, and to do it differently than they've been so instructed. Um, Not much different than anything we've seen in U.S. history regarding the government of the United States and how they deal with Native Americans. Truly, truly sad stuff.